Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And our first story for today, IDWHL equals hired. But before we start, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. So I figured I'd better share my stories during the last year before I lose count. I'm on the job hunt, so I try to dress as nice as possible. Even when I'm not looking for work, I still try to dress nice. My choice of clothing is classic black business pants with collared shirt. I wear my collared shirt with at least 2 buttons loose at the neck. My first experience was at Best Buy a few months ago. I just used the restroom, and I guess the employee break area was right next to them. I came out of the restroom, and a lady from the next row shouts, "Excuse me, can you help me find something?" I apologize hastily and explain that I don't work there. She apologizes back, and I move on. A day or so after that, I'm at Holiday Market. Same thing happens. Lady asks me if I know where such and such item is. I have to once more politely explain that I don't work there. This also happened at a movie theater, but this time the guy asked me if I worked there. What was unusual about this was that we were on the opposite side of the massive parking lot that has stuff like Target and other stores. I wonder why he singled out the theater. Lastly, this happened today. I was scheduled for an interview in a retail store and was waiting at customer service for my interview with resume in hand. My clothes are nothing like what employees wear, management or otherwise. An elderly woman asked if I could help her find a costume, and I explained I'm sorry, I don't know where that is. She apologizes, and I explain that I understand, as I've had several people ask me if I work at multiple businesses. We got to chatting just as HR guy comes out, and I'm smiling as the elderly lady and I are still talking. So I politely transfer the conversation to the HR employee who points them in the right direction. Got hired about 15 minutes later. Summary, IDontWorkHereLady must have had a helping hand in getting me hired. Nice. A little dressing up and politeness will usually get you a long way in this world. And our second story. Your drink was really good. Thanks. Background, I do front office work for a factory, mostly HR-related stuff with payroll, but I slip in to help out the graphic artists when my workload slows or they get particularly backed up. We don't have a particular uniform, but I like looking nice with whatever finds I manage to snag from the thrift store. Think business casual with a fashion eye. My company ID is hooked onto my denim jean jacket that particular day. So I got off work a couple of weeks ago and hit up a burger place after spending most of the day deciding that a salad and chicken breast wasn't going to cut it. It's doubly convenient that it's only a couple miles from my apartment and also the town I grew up in. I went to school with some of the servers, and I've known some of the regulars since I was a toddler. It really is a place where everyone knows your name, but it's also a tourist town and you never know who's going to swing through. I walk in, say hi to the hostess, and make a beeline to the table that the employees like to sit at when times are slow. One of the servers comes back and brings me some chips to munch on while we chat until I see my mom's friend waving at me from across the restaurant. After walking over and saying my hellos, I feel a hand tugging on the back of mine on the way back to where I was sitting. CT. This is confused tourist. Excuse me, where's our server? I'm ready to place my drink order. Me. I don't know. Do you remember her name? I can send her over if I see her. How do you not know? No wonder she's not doing her job, since you're not doing yours. Oh, she thinks I'm a manager. Dress nice, ID badge. I'm running the place. Never mind that I'm 21 and look years younger than that. I'd be doing pretty well for myself to grab a position like that. Me. Oh, I don't work here. CT. Bullcrap. Pink stripper. What? The lady's husband rolls his eyes as I look between them and try to figure out what she just called me. That's my drink. Get it for me. CT's husband. Killian's on draft. Small, he added. Me. I still don't work here. I started to say before I got the dismissive hand wave. My mother was a server and bartender most of my life, and it was always ingrained just how much you should not treat waitstaff like servants. At this point, I'm PO'd by proxy as I walk over to the bar and order my first pink stripper. I gave the bartender the rundown, and she's watching as I walk back over to their table with my drink in hand. Maybe I'm the stereotypical jerkish Yankee, but you're potentially not going to treat my friends like crap in front of me. So I waited till they both noticed me standing beside their table, as I took a long sip from that glass. CT. What the hell are you doing? Me. I like cran vodka. The pink lemonade really adds a nice sweetness. Thanks for the drink recommendation. CT jumps up, points a finger in my direction, and says, Do you have any idea how much I've spent here in the last couple of days? I still don't work here. I told you that. But if you're ready to find some manners, I'd be glad to find someone to help you. CT stares at me for a second before sliding back into her chair and exchanging a look with her husband before going back to ignoring me. I go back to enjoying the homemade cheesy tater tots I had waiting for me. I had a good view of them as their server came over and took their order, and later the manager doing a table visit. They glanced my way when he did, but were quite polite. Maybe I'm a jerk, but they had it coming. And our next story. I used to work here. I used to work at a pharmacy when I was 18, and I worked a lot for an 18-year-old. I regularly worked about 60 hours a week and more during the holidays. I did it because we were short-staffed and the overtime wasn't too shabby either. Anyway, because I worked so much, I knew all of our regular customers, and they all knew me. There are two kinds of regular customers. The first kind of regular customers is a delight in the middle of a rush day or a long week. They always put a smile on your face or try to make small talk and be extra nice and out of the way. Then you have the second kind. You could be having a wonderful morning, but the second you see them, you just say, Gee, D, not this guy. They've always got a problem, and it becomes your business very quickly. They're pushy, inconsiderate of other customers, usually cheap, and sometimes outright rude. Now, I used to work at a pharmacy years ago. Today, I was in the store that I worked in because it's near my house, and I had the misfortune of running into my old arch nemesis. We'll call her the coupon wench. She couponed fairly hard, but nothing like extreme couponers on TV. But she'd hand you like 15 coupons, but 8 would be bad, and the limit's 4 anyway. She'd freak out and demand that you take them all, then give you crap and say she'd complain to the manager, but she was using too many. There are ways around it, you just have to do it right. And she wasn't. But she'd always have another one, and she'd say it. She'd reach into her purse and look you in the eye and go, There's always another one. It was usually also bad. We met often, and she was not a fan of mine. Anyway, I was in the store getting shaving cream and whatever, and I see her out of my peripheral. Nope, finished here. Nothing I can't get another time or place. So I'm just going to check out and continue my day. So I get up to the front, and there are no cashiers, which is understandable as I imagine they're still understaffed. I was waiting patiently because there's no bell to ring, but it's a small store and I'm sure someone will be around. Boy, was I right. The coupon wench decided to drop by. She came up to me and asked me where the shampoo she was looking for was. Now I reiterate, I hadn't worked here in at least 2 years, and this lady's in here every other day. She knows damn well where the shampoo aisle is and just wants me to come over and find it for her on the shelf. I'm not in uniform and haven't seen this lady in so long, and she just expects me to help her after all the bullcrap she put me through? I pointed to the aisle without looking at her. She was obviously offended. She says very sarcastically, "Excuse me for trying to get a little help." I snapped back, "You're beyond help, lady." She shouts, "What?" I just calmly said, "I don't work here anymore. I can't help you, and I don't want to." The coupon wench reached into her familiar bag of tricks, but lo, they were useless on me, as I was just another customer. She threatened to go tell the manager. "Okay, it's Gary. I saw him over there." I knew him. She says that I should be taught some manners. I say, after being shouted at over 20 cents on multiple occasions, that's a little thin. Can you get away from me? She went and told Gary, and I watched him give a shrug. I'm very familiar with his, "IDK what to tell you, you're effed" shrug. And she was so PO'd. She got red and yelled, and Gary half apologized. She left in a huff, and Gary rang me up. I explained the whole thing, and he said it's nice to have another customer testimony for when she inevitably emails corporate about it. I was very satisfied with her frustration. Does that make me a bad person? I think not. She was a very catch up next Tuesday. I just can't imagine people with the mindset that when they see someone not in uniform, and I'm sure she knew I didn't even work there, and expect to help. There's my rant. Thanks for reading. Moments like this are rare. And no, it does not make you a bad person. And our next story. Manager thinks I'm her security. A few years ago, I worked for a security company. They're rather large and had multiple contracts in the area. I worked down the street from where this happened. I just finished a 12-hour shift and was grocery shopping when I heard someone yelling at me from behind. I turned around and see this lady wearing the store's nicer uniform and name tag that said manager. Manager, what are you doing inside with a shopping cart nonetheless? I was confused. I'd walked in with my uniform shirt on, different color than the guards there. Mine was blue, theirs was white. Also had a large patch on the back that said what mall I worked at. I asked her what she meant, and she said, "Don't play dumb with me, you work for blank." I said, "Yes, I do, and such a mall." She apparently only heard yes and pulled out her phone and called my regional manager. The manager store put it on speaker. "Yes, I have old Josh 6 here with me, and he's shopping, regional manager." And? He's not supposed to be shopping when he should be outside patrolling in the truck. No, he should be off duty and not working right now. He just got done working a 12-hour shift at the mall. Oh, why didn't he tell me that? I did when you asked me. It also says on the back of my shirt in big letters, nearby mall. My regional manager hung up and I went about my shopping. I'd been there a few times and was never stopped before. The company didn't care if you had to get something from the store on your way home. A new memo was passed down to us a few days later. No shopping where we had contracts in uniform. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.